Welcome in, everybody. This is Real Talk with Spoon and Puddin,
I'm just doing a little.
episode 35.
I think that'll
I'll
work.
be the one and only Big Spoon.
I'll be the pudding, and you got your disclaimer to read.
Yeah, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Primary purpose of this podcast is to educate and share our thoughts and opinions. When we have proof and evidence on a topic, it will be brought forth. This podcast does not constitute advice or services to anyone. Spoon and Puddin do not accept any responsibility or liability for anyone, our guest, or anyone's comments or actions based on the material we talk about on our podcast. This podcast is private and for non-commercial use, and everyone should ascertain that the information we provide is correct and verified at all times. There shall be no editing, or reproduction of this podcast without prior written permission from Spoon and Puddin. You can reach us at Real Talk with Spoon and Puddin at gmail.com. What's going on, Puddin?
No, not much. What kind of mess on my hands, but whatever. What happened with you the other day? You found something out. You just texting last night and talking about it. You put it on the banners or the board or whatever here on the side, or
Yeah, we'll get to it.
I just I wanted to go ahead and get to it real quick. I wanted to go ahead and post that. Ain't you been called a liar for that?
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're still calling me a liar today, but let me get everything going here. I gotta, when we start, I gotta make sure everything's on the go.
Really? Well, come on, man.
Well, we had early voting the last 2 days.
Yeah, I've heard. And you said something about the end controlling crew was doing something that could have got the police called on them, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's what we were told anyway.
The click, and then you got the fence sitter, Mike Hall, running back and forth. You said. Oh, I guess LaToya Holcomb is not the one to vote for. Apparently, you said she was all over there with them, right?
Well, I get into this.
They've probably been whining and dining her, because they know that they know your buddy Dillard's gone. So,
Wait, can I change my shirt?
So, no, but you said I don't know what you was talking about last night. I wanted you to get to it. You need to go ahead and hit that topic.
All right. Well, what you want me to start with? You want me to start with the numbers? You want me to start with
go with the numbers. Go with the numbers. Let's go because this is early on, and everyone called you a liar that the city isn't going $430,000 in deficit, which is you're going $430,000 down per year, which means.
All right. I've pulled records over months, and I've talked about it on this podcast, and I've had conversations with people and told them what the facts were, and
but
the city
mayor lies to them, and they believe the mayor.
Yeah, well, the sitting mayor board, whoever,
half truth,
wants to tell half truths, or they want to say, well, Mr. Cole's lying. He's just spreading false. So I'm gonna put this up on there for everybody to see.
Y'all can pause it or get to this 4 minutes in the video.
I'll read it to you, but it's up on the screen. So not only would I would be lying, the Sumner County Tax Alliance would be lying too, because their numbers are about the same as me. But they state also on the ballot in Portland is a sales and use tax referendum. The question on the ballot is a uniform local option sales tax rate of 2.75% should be established so the additional funds from the sales tax increase can be used for public safety and street paving. And I've been for this, leaning towards being for this, but the more and more I look at numbers and the more that I think about this, the more and more I'm probably going to be no, which I never want to raise taxes anyway.
No, the reason no one should be for this is because this is just to help extend these idiots. Because
if they can't manage the money they have, giving
Why
them
you give them
additional
more?
funds, they're just going to waste more. The increase is from 2.25% to 2.75, right?
Mhm.
That's a 22% increase in your city sales tax if you buy in the city limits. That rate would be higher than other Sumner County cities of Gallatin, Hendersonville, Millersville, or Westmoreland, which are still at 2.25. The only White House has a sales tax rate of 2.75, or if you cross 31 into where Portland annexed into Robertson County, that's 2.75. Meanwhile, the city of Portland spending went from 11.6 million in fiscal year 20 to 21. It dipped a little bit in the COVID year, but not much. It went down to 10.3 million.
Well, it probably
And
dipped a little bit because a lot of them employees went home and got their fat government checks and sat on their rear ends and didn't do any work.
right, and then it jumps to 15.6 million. That's a 34% increase. This is all lined up. This is the things I've been telling you people. And the Sumner County Tax Alliance has come out and put all this out there. And people are slowly starting to open their eyes and saying, well, Mr. Cole wasn't lying then, was he? A 34% increase in spending in your budget. They come out with their inflation numbers. What was it? They come out with 8 or 9%, which we all know is probably about 14 or 15% in reality.
Inflation is the freight train. It's about the lowest corn fast food line in Portland. Everyone. That's all there is to it.
But what I'm getting at is they increased their spending and budget by 34%.
Yeah, the crew that you said, the Thompson, the Callis, the whoever else is on their little crew.
The sitting board.
Pretty much the city board.
We don't have to name names. We can just say your current mayor and city board. It is what it is. So if your national
Drew Jennings and
if your national inflation rate, they tell us is 8 or 9%, which we all know is more than that, and your city government is increased 34%, right? That'd be 4 times what the inflation is.
These people will tell you he's a conservative. He'll say he's conservative.
Yeah.
And hey, maybe he is these days. I have noticed the conservatives tend to spend more than the Democrats these days.
All right, so 34% increase in 2 years in your budget and spending. You can find all this at the cityofportlandtennessee.gov/finance/budget. It shows the difference between revenue and expenses for the year, and it's at a negative $430,300. To the average citizen, that doesn't look so good. Maybe there's some changes that need to be made in Portland city government. This is not my words. This is the Sumner County Tax Alliance word.
That's Taxpayers Alliance.
Yeah, Sumner Taxpayers Alliance. This is not including the money that they continue to borrow, right?
They had to borrow that money from Clarksville we've been talking about, and that's what going to last them at their rate. Maybe we'll be lucky and get 6 years with that.
Yeah, yeah, right.
I mean, or maybe they're going to hope that half of that little 22% sales tax increase. And again, if you don't live in Portland, don't buy anything in Portland. If you buy something important, you're helping these clowns. That's the way you protest it. Don't buy anything in the city limit. I mean, Spoon wants to try to help, and you've been in management before, so. And like you already said, I heard your radio thing. You said you wanted to go in there and do a complete audit, top to bottom.
Yes,
that's what you wanted to do.
If I get
the numbers,
if I was to get it, the first thing I'm going to do is
the city recorder, man. I mean, if she got if I'm wondering if she was in that 4% increase that they all voted on here recently. Because she was already touching almost $40 an hour. You want to talk about fiscal irresponsibility?
If I was to win, I'm not starting in their mess, right? There's going to be a full-blown audit. Everything's going to be audited. Every piece of paper, every number, every department. And we're going to find out where the money's being sent.
Oh, it's going down.
Who's wasting the money?
I'm fine. I'm glad we're leaving that up there on screen. It needs to stay there. Everyone needs to read it and understand it. You've said it. The city's in big debt. We've shown the debt, and then the mayor just says, "Oh, that's not true. It's a mortgage." I understand. Okay, if that's what you want to say, it's a mortgage. But you're not making enough to cover it now. And
you're spending more than you're bringing in plus you're borrowing millions of dollars on top of it.
Which is just going to be a downward spiral. So,
well, yeah, he's continuing go. So this is the thing I have to say to the people: if you want to continue that rate, then that's the way you go. But Portland's not going to end up in a great place. I can tell you that. It's getting worse and worse year by year that they're in there. Trying to find some other. I got so much. But just like I told you on the spending, as a city, we the people, we owe over $50 million with payments stretched out past the year 2050.
Does Callis owe $50 million?
Well, I mean, he lives in the city limits, so
no. I mean, I'm saying,
no, him personally.
What's his percentage of that money that he spent? What about Thompson? The city limits got moved out past her place, so she could be in the city limits. What happened with her? How much? I guess she's a portion. Is she going to pay her fair share, or is she going to pay based on income? No. No. She expects the working guy that lives in the city to pay just as much as she pays. Mm-hmm. Drew Jennings, is he? I guess he's got to live in the city limits, or at least have a house or residence in the city limits. But
yeah, I'm sure he lives in the city limits.
They don't. Their portion is equal to the other 10,000 citizens in the city limits. They're 1/10,000th of what's owed, but they're the ones that have spent all that money. But people don't care. People don't pay attention. They're like, well.
I mean, I don't know how many times to hit it.
Well, the mayor's nice, and he told me you were spreading lies. There's your lie right there on the screen.
And
Spoon and Puddin are lying to y'all. Well, there's a lie.
And I've showed the records on here before.
Oh, I know.
And talked about the money that the city has spent and the money that the city's borrowed, and it's not no big secret. Anybody can go up there and pull the records and pull the budget. A lot of it you can pull online. That link I just give you. I mean, the numbers are there. I don't know what else to tell you.
He's nice,
Look, I have nothing against the
Mayor Mike Callis was nice to me. He gave me a reach around, just put his hands down my pants and told me that some other people were lying. Come on, man. I don't have to be nice to that guy. I talked to him one damn time, asked for one damn thing, and he can go fuck himself. That's all I got to say about it.
I understand your side there. But...
No, it's one motherfucking thing. I asked for one fucking thing from that son of a bitch, and he wouldn't do it. Probably because he's getting twice the money to put the fluoride in the water and poison citizens.
I have nothing against him personally.
Dude, man, come on, man.
But when you're running the government,
and
you're spending that kind of money, and then you tell people and you portray yourself as this good, godly, upstanding Christian man, and then you're lying and cheating the people in that.
Look, the man that you may not have voted for, or half of the city didn't vote for, is putting that shit in your fucking water. Okay. That shit right there is being put in your fucking water, and half of the people in Portland didn't vote for him. When I travel through Portland, I don't want to drink the water because of that fucking shit. That man is doing that shit to y'all, and y'all people need to fucking realize it, and he should go fuck himself. Because I asked him on July 1st, put that on the agenda or get it out of the fucking water. What did he do? We'll and you talked to some of the aldermen too, and they all said, same old bullshit, We'll try to get it on the agenda, but it never went on the fucking agenda. They won't talk about it because I guarantee you they're being paid money like a bunch of corrupt fucks to put that shit up there. And that's where I just get to a point where it's like, you guys, no, you don't poison people and then sit around and tell us that, that's pissing on our head and tell us it's raining. I'm sorry. I'm tired of it.
Mommy watches you.
Yeah.
You said you wanted to start small, Spoon. You didn't want to. You wanted to take the podcast and focus on Portland and start small. And I said, let's try to avoid the local stuff. I wanted to just talk more about national because there's a lot of national bullshit going on.
I think you can make a difference on the local level where you're not going to make
exactly. It. So I went with it. I let you. We went, and I tried with the fluoride, and that mayor sat there on July 1st of this year and lied to me. was the day you were getting all your papers, and I was there, and he was standing there between me and you talking to us, and I said, let's get fluoride on the agenda. And you said, as an executive, he could take that shit out of the water tomorrow. And it's already I've already shown I think I shown the cost, and we put it up here. I don't know if
it's not on here,
but it's not on here, but I've got the pictures of it. It costs like $2,000 every 2 months to buy the fluoride.
That's just buying the product.
That's just buying the product. I mean,
and when we requested water samples, we didn't get water samples.
We got these water samples that were in Robertson County across the fucking interstate.
At the very end of the pipeline.
The very end of the pipeline is where they're pulling the water to send it for a sample. You people understand how flows and sediment stuff works. That's where you're going to get the least amount of fluoride.
Well, it's not just him. It's been through all the mayors of this
forever. You had your good joke about the ham, and cutting it, and that was a funny joke. I'm still laughing about that one. I don't know why them other two idiots did it, but my pan the ham wouldn't fit. That was funny.
Yeah.
But again, here's Mayor Callis. First time he meets me, never met me before. He couldn't even do me the simple courtesy of let's talk about it. So I don't have to be nice to him. If you want to play nice to him, then that's on you. I don't see why you want to play nice with the guy, and I would want you to smack him in his little, the whole time.
Let's get back on the numbers and the facts, and that's what we're putting out there. Mm-hmm. So in addition, now this what I'm about to tell you. The last 2 days of early voting. Thursday I wasn't there. I had somebody there for me, but Friday I was there most of the day, except for having to leave and run an errand or pick my kids up from school. So Thursday or Friday afternoon,
got a guest host coming in on the fluoride. Somebody that like with me.
All right, listen. There was a certain group that drew a straight line from the door of the voting door, went out 100 feet because that's what the regulation was, and they set up camp right in the middle of the parking lot. They were blocking off parking spaces and blocking off walkways. So Friday afternoon, a lady from the Sumner County Election Commission came there to inspect and make sure everything was going well. I wasn't part of that conversation over there because I was over on the side in the grass next to the sidewalk where all normal candidates usually set up, way away from, the typical parking and walkways and all that. So when I seen who was over there in that little clique that was 100 feet straight from the door was your sitting Mayor Callis and his wife, Alderwoman Thompson, newcomer Latoya Holcomb, Drew Jennings or his representative because he wasn't there all day, and I can't remember if there's anybody else over there or not, but that's who I saw over there. But the lady from the Sumner County Election Commission, she came over to us and told us thank you for us being where we should have been and following the rules, and stated that she had altercations with the bunch that was outside that straight out the door over there, hanging out in the parking lot, blocking parking spaces and walkways, and that people had went in complaining that they were impeding their right to go in and vote without being challenged or interrupted or whatever. And she said that they got quite rude with her, didn't want to move, and she had to get rude back with them. And she told us, thank you for adhering to the rules and not giving her any issues. And, and I said, well, this was my question to her. And I said, well, what really can be done about it? You said you've come talk to them and asked them to move several times. And she said, maybe, I think she said the poll workers had asked them to move on the first day. And she said, well, the next step would be call the police. But, I'm sure the church don't want to have that problems and, all that. So none of that was ever done. But she came back over 2 or 3 times talking to us. Because I was over on the side of the in the grass beside the sidewalk. It was me and my father-in-law and Dual Scruggs running for city council, and I think his wife and maybe one other person. But my comment to her was when she came back over the second time, and I said, well, that's the bunch that has the power and controls the money spending around here, and they think they can do what they want. And her exact response was, well, it's obviously because they won't listen to what they're supposed to do in the directions that I give them, because they're in violation of some of the rules. So you put all that with the money spending and the borrowing and the way they act, and I guess they're scared that they're going to lose the election and they're going to lose some of that power or all the power.
Daddy, I was there with you.
What?
I was there with you.
Yeah, I know.
Why can't you tell us?
Hey, you're muted. I can't hear nothing you say.
You know what she just said? She said, "Thank God, I wish I could mute him."
I heard that.
Everybody thinks I've heard of.
So can you hear me now? I'm trying a new mic setup.
Yes.
Put my headset in. Well, no, she was like, I brought this for a little prop, just to, this French bread steamer I got for a couple of dollars. But no, she's just finding stuff. It was like, I was thinking to myself, what am I going to do about that steaming French bread problem I have?
What does that guy have? Anything to do with what?
I don't know.
About?
Just talking about something off the cuff. But I'm messing with you. Get on topic. I know.
Put him back on mute, Charlie.
I was hoping Latimer was going to come in here and.
I muted you.
Go ahead. You're showing Michelle you got power, huh? You have a thought, Paul, and I will respect it.
I didn't think I could mute you because I can't unmute you.
Amen.
Well, you're the host, bitch. If I started the podcast and you came in, I guess I can mute you too. But
Okay.
you have authority, and we shall respect it. You know what it is? Luke Cartman.
Quit.
What? But no, I don't know, man. I'm over listening to everything like the callous lie on fluoride. And who was the last mayor you was talking to, Latimer?
Wilbur?
King Wilbur. Ken
Wilbur?
Yeah. Latimer went in and talked about it. And Jody remembered it. He remembered it. We talked to him. He remembered it when Latimer was in there trying to get the fluoride out of the damn water when he lived in the city, and they would just ignore it, which I mean, that's what I'm saying. They must be getting paid somewhere. It must be a payday.
Well, put this in perspective. If all the meetings you watched or been to, or anybody's watched or been to, if you're not in their little circle of who they're going to give special treatment to, do they actually listen or care or pay attention to anybody that brings up any issue to that council? No,
and that's why just a few minutes ago I come unglued on you when you're like, when I said fuck callous, and you said, let's not be that way. And I said, you know what? I meet you one time, ask for one little small thing, and you could. I mean, you're already $430,000 in the hole this year. What the hell's going an extra $2? Because if you're getting paid $4 to buy $2,000 in fucking fluoride, well, you're not going to be $2,000 profitable, and your people are going to, I don't know, they might start actually thinking. Maybe that's why they want to keep doing it. They don't want people's intelligence to go up and start catching them on their bullshit. Maybe they want people to say, I'm going to stop watching Dancing with the Stars and start paying attention to what these assholes are doing in the city. But again, y'all need to represent and remember that if there's 10,000 people in Portland, he's only 1/10,000th of the bill that he's spending.
Well, it's I think it's like 13,000 or something. But
whatever the city number is, his portion is just a small piece of it. Mm-hmm. It's completely irrelevant to him if he spends $500,000 in deficit every year.
Well, not to mention then I have signs coming up missing and getting over. And
Yeah, somebody, the city runner, did the city run over your sign and didn't run his sign down?
Yeah, that's right.
With a tractor, they mowed. Go ahead, Charlie.
They jumped about 10 feet and skipped over his sign, but they mowed mine down and cut it in about 1,000,000 pieces.
Maybe he knew where to put it.
Oh no! Man, it wasn't that he knew where to put it, Michelle. He was.
I'm not saying that this is.
No, I'm just saying. I guess
Puddin saying it's conspiracy.
The guy, I know. Allegedly, we'll say allegedly. Allegedly, the guy in the tractor is proud of his 4% pay increase thanks to Callis, and said, "Screw this guy that wants to get the budget in."
I'm not saying he was. I'm not saying he was ordered by the mayor to do it.
Nobody said that. I'm saying.
He could have. He could have seen.
Said, if you see Charles Cole's signs, I'm the one that gave you a 4% raise. Not Cole. He's going to probably take it away from you.
Yeah. Or it could have been a guy that don't like me and said, "Well, that asshole."
I don't know. I mean, still, we're not. We didn't say it was instructed. We don't have any proof of that. That's just, that's called satire, people. That's what that's called. Just like I could say that bankers, love to do Cleveland Steamers. That's called satire. I mean. I don't know if they're on the pitching side or the receiving side. What do you think? Do you think they like their chest shit on, or do you think they?
Oh my God!
What? Go to Urban Dictionary and look up a Cleveland Steamer. If you own a bank or you come from a family that owns banks, you love Cleveland Steamers. It's just all there is to it.
Yeah, let's move past that. Let's go.
What? I didn't say no names. I just said bankers.
But
they love shitting on the people. I think they love to give Cleveland Steamers. That's what it is. They get on your chest and they rock the poo back and forth and get.
Okay, let's get past that. Let's go. Let's go. I got 4 or 5 other ones that I know for sure are missing, but my daughter told me that there's some kids at school talking about pulling signs up, moving them, and I've talked to other people. They've had signs come up missing and all that. So I'm sure it's just one of those things that happens when you run. It's.
I guess we need to put an evil monocle and an evil mustache on all of Callis's posters, pictures.
No,
we could get a stencil and we could just go up there with like a can of spray paint. And just
the point is, you don't touch other people's property.
Put a top hat on him, make him the old Monopoly man.
I don't want anybody touching my signs I pay for, and I'm not touching anybody else.
I'm just saying, if the kids in Portland thought it was funny, he does have his picture on all the signs.
Well, I think my wife told me a story about
the people who have the money to put their their pictures on their signs and put all these signs up. Yeah, it would be funny if you gave them a little monocle.
Well, they're not paying for their signs. Somebody else is paying for the signs. See, my hard work and money paid for my stuff.
I know you paid for it. I know you won't. I know you're genuine. And. Mm-hmm. You're not out for profit. These other people are.
All the mayor's got to do is fix the potholes.
Fix the potholes?
No, all he's got to do is stand out there and preach like he's talking in the pulpit and make sure Main Street and the parking behind the square is paved so they can have their Strawberry Festival once a year and their Fall Fest once a year and just wave and kiss babies and keep telling the same old BS propaganda and people flock to him.
What did you call it with the fluoride in the water and the children? Don't they got to alert them if it's so high?
That's why it always says 0.6.
Yeah,
parts per million is because if it's over 0.6, they got to give a warning.
Well, that's why they give you the sample at the very end of the line. They don't test it at the beginning of the line or the middle of the line or various places. You got to check where it's diluted all the way at the end of the line.
Well, that was the point, though, was, instead of kissing babies, he's poisoning babies. So
well, that and another discouraging thing.
And I say that satirically, but let's put that back up on screen. Oh, wait a minute. That is a poison. Is that a poison? It's in your water, and the mayor could take it out, and he doesn't. So
another discouraging thing was the early voting. I thought there would be a lot more. I think the numbers. If the numbers are right, there was around 1,000 people that come out and early voted in 2 days, and that's not 1,000 people that can vote in the city. That's overall.
That's a good thing.
Well, people outside of the city might vote different. I don't know.
what I'm saying is, if there's 1,000 people, how many of those actually could cast votes in the city election? Was it half? Was it 30%? Was it 20%? You don't know those numbers. So I was kind of hoping that you would get a lot more people out to vote in those 2 days. But here's another thing: why in Gallatin and Hendersonville you can go early vote on Saturday, but in Portland you couldn't? Did they purposely do that to keep the numbers down?
I remember when they changed it to the off election year. That was something to do with the weather.
With the off. Oh, the mayor was off election. Oh, okay. When was that though?
Probably about 15 years ago. Yeah, a while ago. Like 2008, maybe.
2008. I hadn't said something about that's whenever. But no, I didn't. It would be a lot harder on him for the mayor if he was with the president. You know what I mean? He had bigger turnout, big time.
Well, yeah, I think it's the mayor's always elected in the off year.
Well, I hate how a lot of governors are elected in the off year. I don't, I mean, it wouldn't be so, like I said, it wouldn't be so bad if we could get a blockchain voting system. You know what I mean? Where people could vote from their device wherever they are, anytime they want, and once they cast their ballot, anyone could view it and see it, and it couldn't be changed. That would be great.
Well, you know as well as I do right now, it doesn't matter who votes. It's a matter who counts the votes. And we don't know who counts the votes.
That's what I'm saying. Well, with a blockchain, you could count it if you learned. Well, Adam knows a lot about the blockchain. I do too. We both know a lot about it. And anybody can go in there and look at the blockchain and see where every Bitcoin's ever went. So if you could go in there and look at where every vote's ever went, whether it was, if you started it in 2022, which we're not, but let's say 2024, you got something like that going. Well, from 2024, 2026, 2028, every time you voted, you would see your votes, what it was, where it went, who it was cast to, and could nobody do anything nefarious with it. So that's kind of where I'm like, God, that's the way forward. Now, the whole Stalin thing, if I don't care who you vote for, I just care who counts it. Gone. Gone are the days of that. But we got people in power that, I don't know, once they've gotten their power and they figured out how to keep it, they like Stalin. So, but like I said, your story about them over there doing their things, you wish the police would have got called on. That would have been great for you to start recording it. You know what I mean?
Well, like I said, this was coming from the lady from the election commission. I wasn't over there in the middle of their conversation or any of that. I'm just telling the people what I was told from.
They was trying. We don't know. They might have been trying to intimidate people. Hey, look at us. You need to vote for us. We're the ones who've spent your grandchildren into oblivion.
I know. One time when I had to leave and run an errand, I went over there and I was going to talk to JoJo, but I just said to him, like, what is this? The in click, and I wasn't invited or not. And they were like, well, you come over, you want to. And I was like, I'm just giving you crap. But I'm a smoker. One definitely reason I didn't go over is I'm a smoker. None of those are smokers. So I was going to hang out over by the sidewalk.
Well, no, they like to keep their money. They don't want to pay taxes. They want everyone else to pay for their bullshit.
I wasn't going to put myself over there in the middle of people that doesn't smoke, and especially not in the middle of the parking lot and block up parking spaces or try to interfere with people, because there's a lot of people coming there. I wave and other people do, and they won't even look at you, or they give you an evil look like you're there to bother them. I'm like, no, I'm just waving at you. You don't have to vote for me. You don't have to look at me. It's just
you're over here. You're giving your time, and you're going to try, and
just being
like it or hate it, or
being nice and considerate and waving. That's it. That's nothing else required.
So what's the latest on Russia you heard? I watched that thing, what I could catch of it, that you sent me with Putin. It's hard to get Russian what they're doing in Russia over here. They done took RT down and everything. The controllers don't like different opinions.
I know the 101st Airborne's over there on the border.
What?
Yeah, you didn't see that?
104th Airborne on the border of what, Ukraine?
Well, in the what do we call it? Not the
You think we're
no-fly
gonna
zone,
get,
but
you think it's going to get nuclear pretty soon? What do you think?
I hope not.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I don't know. I think Putin has more restraint than these pricks, honestly.
Uh,
I don't think it'll be him.
I don't think, I think they might attack him. Well, he made that point, that America's the only one that's ever used them. I did catch him using that. I mean, again, it's easy for him to sit there and talk about the facts because
Israel used them. They just used them underwater before they could lie about it when they nuked Japan.
no.
I'm still wondering about that. We still ain't got to the point. Andy told me about was it Switzerland or something or Sweden was doing an investigation on that pipeline, and all of a sudden it got shut down. Yeah, wonder who did that.
Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah, I wonder. Now you're being oh, wait a minute. Well, they didn't remember. The official story is that the U.S. government didn't fly those planes into those towers.
Oh, they didn't?
They would never do anything to hurt infrastructure. Yeah. Our government is so benevolent. They're, they're wonderful people. They give your babies they put that in the water for your children. They love you. They're still on crossbones. They love you.
I mean that goes on in the majority around the United States. Doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean it's right. And there's several cities in the state of Tennessee that
Europe banned that. You can't get that in Europe. The EU banned it. The European Union said zero.
You're going to have the people say, "Oh, you got to have it for the teeth," and da 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 da. You take your kids to the dentist. Do they brush their teeth?
Even if they say it's for their teeth, you got to ingest it. It's got to go through your stomach, then somehow magically get into your bloodstream, then go through your root canal.
Yeah, no,
it's not like you're sitting there swishing it around on your teeth or something.
Well, no, I could understand. That's what is. If you get you a bottle of fluoride at the store and you see that it has fluoride in it, the mouthwash, it says "Do not swallow." It's very big and bold. Do not swallow it. Swish it around your teeth. Spit it out. Get it out of there. Don't ingest it and wait for it to go through your whole damn system to make its way back to your teeth in some final half-life of a fucking radiation particle. That's like saying I need to ingest. Khaleesi get your toenails painted the other day.
No, they're still not.
She didn't get to him yet? I thought we coaxed her into it 2 weeks ago or something.
She must have gotten sidetracked and distracted.
Well, the next time she paints them, remember, you need to drink nail polish remover to get it off.
Oh, yeah.
That's
yes. Does that sign
the
me up
same
for
logic as putting fluoride in the water. Callous, you prick. Fuck you. Fuck you, I said it. Hey, sorry. He's a mayor. Fuck him. He could take it out tomorrow, but he won't. He wouldn't. He won't acknowledge anything. It makes me mad. But you're going to sit here and make.
I'm more worried about these numbers.
You're more worried about that. Hey, look, you got your starting point. I got mine.
Right. When
I want to go to Dunkin' Donuts in Portland and buy me a cold brew and know that the fucking fluoride filters are don't need to work. You know what I mean?
And everybody understand, Puddin's rants are not Candidate Cole's rants. Puddin has his own mind.
You said you had a mute button, but I don't see you using it.
Oh, do you hear?
What? I couldn't hear you.
What? I was everywhere.
What? I couldn't hear you. I guess that's what I have to do every time you start talking. I hit mute on you.
How you gonna stop me from, showing my ass?
I'll just kick you off.
Oh, okay. Well, kick me off then. I'm fine with it. We got some practice to go do in a minute, but I know you want to talk about it. You read that? Here, I'll give it to you on my phone.
What about this?
Yeah, the taxpayer. This is the Sumner Tax Alliance did this.
Yeah, but
they've been telling everyone in Portland that
Sumner Tax Alliance.
Sumner Taxpayer Alliance. They're the ones that said that basically the city's going almost $500,000 in debt this year alone. 430,000.
No, that's over budget.
No, that's in debt. Like
Yeah.
everything said, what they take in, they're still going negative 430,000.
Yeah, after they raised and went up 34% in spending already.
That's what he was running his mouth about, how you're going to handle a $46 million budget. Hell, he can't handle it. So what's he running his mouth? If you got $46 or $46 million,
numbers are numbers, right?
Yeah,
Well, no.
obviously he can't handle it.
Well, remember, religious institutions pay no taxes.
What? And I can tell you what, running logistics and covering a budget in a big trucking company, it's a lot more money handled there than it is in a little bitty old town like this. So,
Oh yeah, no, some of them trucking companies have a shit. I'd imagine their budgets are probably
well,
they probably do that in a year.
the last one I was a part of and helped run and control all that was 3 different companies run under the same umbrella, but you had to branch out, right? Because they were all LLCs. They run under one, but it umbrellaed out, right? So you had one overall budget I think was around 115 million, and then you umbrellaed the other 3 small companies out, and then you had to do theirs too. So the city numbers are small compared to logistics and trucking company, and
because generally speaking, private employers actually do something that's beneficial to people, other than just try to steal more money from them. To measure from the base or the balls. What I mean?
I mean, numbers are numbers. It doesn't matter if it's 10 million, it's 50 million. When you're doing a budget and you're looking at all the departments, it comes down to this right here. Do you have the money? And what are you spending?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And this right here tells people that they continue to spend what we don't have.
The mayor's telling everyone how big his weenie is because he measured from the balls and not the base.
Hey. I'm gonna have to start hitting mute, I guess.
Well, hit mute again, then. I'm sorry. I'm special. Charlie, okay, she's agreeing you shouldn't have me on. All right, motherfucker.
Well, we got to stay on task. All right.
I'm staying on task.
I understand you're told there's purpose.
He's called you a liar when he's not telling the truth.
Well, no, he tells half truths. He don't tell the truth.
Well, he can't tell the truth because he would be a landslide for anyone who ran against him.
Yeah, more than likely.
Because he can't manage and I don't even think their budget's not even that big. Technically,
why do you think
in the red?
Why do you think they're doing all these things? Why do you think? Well, the mayor and the board. Why do you think they're doing all these things and all these?
They're getting themselves. They're being like just like Pelosi. They're Nancy Pelosi. You vote for the sitting people. You're voting for the Pelosi's.
They're
lying down pockets, and they're laughing all the way to they're driving the cash wagon to their house and laughing the whole way.
They've got to taste the power. They don't want to give it up. I mean, why do you think that the lady from the Sumner County Election Commission was so irritated and up in arms about how they talked to her and treated her instead of listening and hearing to the rules and early voting? Why do you think they worked so hard at getting Mr. Dillard off the board, right? Which I understand he works just as hard against them because he never shuts up on the social media. But I'm just saying, look at all the things that they do. Why are they working so hard to stay in power?
Because they got a cash wagon that's just dumped.
Why is it about power? You're supposed to be working for the people. You're supposed to do what's best for your community.
People need to watch the first season of House of Cards. That one line when that guy come in there with all that money as a lobbyist or some shit. Did you see that show or series?
What?
Well, he come in there. Now, I guess we can't talk much about Kevin Spacey.
In the drawer.
Well, I don't know. I guess probably most government official problems of lewd behavior with minors. I guess, but we can't confirm nor deny any of this. But what I'm saying about it is he comes into Kevin Spacey with this money and threatens to pull his funding, because some big oil or energy company was funding him, and he walks away. Kevin Spacey looks at the camera and does his little monologue, and he says he's mistaken money for power. He's like, money's the house, the $10 million house in Sarasota. He's like, power's the castle that stands on the side of a mountaintop for centuries. And that's really the true differences between what you've got here in these little towns and people, because people like Thompson got plenty of money. They could be on vacations all the time. Why are they coming in and sitting on the board? Because they got a taste of that power. And if they can figure out a way to extract money from the guy that works at Food Line and put it in their pocket, they're going to do it.
True leadership must be for the benefit of the people, not for the enrichment of its leaders.
Did you see one of them latest episodes of the House of Dragons, where that lady was threatening about killing the king they tried to install the last episode or something?
Wow.
Basically, did you not see that one? She looked at it and she's like, the only power you people are allowed to have is what the people let you.
Well, I don't know if I've watched it or not. I've watched several episodes, but
the last episode, it was last Sunday, was where she made a threat about they knew where the prince was, and she threatened that she's like, we could have killed him 100 times.
I worked last Sunday.
Like, the only power you have is what the people allow you.
What's 8 plus 8?
What? ADHD?
What's 8 plus 8? 16.
No, it's 20. That's what new math, Common Core math.
If you want Common Core math and what they use in our city
it's
budget,
20 minus a 1, which is
8 plus 8. If it's going in the negative, it would be 4.
Daddy, what's 8 plus 8?
We don't really owe 16 million. It's 4 million.
Daddy, what's
well,
8?
you got a $49 million mortgage
16.
payment, in the city, and you're only falling $500,000 short every year. So,
No,
you're okay, right?
Well,
Every year it's going to go up $500,000, but it's okay. But we're going to spend $4 million on a new fire station and trucks, and
well, I mean, it's good to want those things, but
it's good to win. You want one hand shit in the other, and which one gets full first?
But you have to fix everything inside your house and manage the money a lot better and bring in more funds.
We need a new garden hose on the northwest corner of the yard, Charlie.
Before you start spending millions of dollars that you don't have.
What is 30
The water heater's leaking and running the floor in the house, but we need a new water hose over there on the back 40. Fucking idiots.
So the things I want the people to keep in mind when you go vote. Think for yourself. Don't fall victim to the fakeness, because if you look around on social media, especially the sitting mayor, he's taken every opportunity to go to do every photo op and do this and do that and be inside the concession stand at the football games and be at the football games and be at the senior.
He's the mysterious reach around that's in your pocket.
Senior living centers, and everywhere he can do a video or a photo op and spread his half truths and his fakeness. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, well, like I said, he's the mysterious reach.
A certain write-in candidate, he's on social media about every day, posting and doing videos too.
He's on a tractor obstructing traffic. I know what'll make people vote for me. Let's slow them down to 10 miles per hour.
Yeah. I wonder why those 45 cars flip me off. I bet I'm getting their vote.
I'm really making a difference. It's going to be a landslide for me.
But pay attention to those things. Pay attention that the money they're spending. I've told you, I don't know how many times. I put it on the screen. I don't know how many times. I've showed y'all before the money that they borrowed. All right. Mm-hmm. We're over $50 million in debt as a city. But the mayor sat there and tell you that the city has a $4 million plus surplus. How can you have a $4 million surplus if you're spending more money than what you budgeted this year?
Ain't going to last long if you have $500,000 in the hole every year.
And you borrowed $50 million. That's half truths. You don't have a $4 million surplus. Let's say you was $52 million in debt. All right. And you had a budget of $15 million. All right. and you go over budget by $500,000. What is the truth? Do you still have a surplus of $4 million? No, you're going to have your rainy day fund, but you've already pulled $500,000 out of that because you went $500,000 over budget, and you still owe $52 million. So
once they buy
let's be
$2.3
truthful.
million in fire trucks, I mean, half of that's gone. They'll just burn that up, and they'll be looking for another place to give them another loan in about 4 years.
No,
they keep voting for the problem for them.
It ain't gonna be that. And remember, this is election year. The only tax that is put up there that they're going to raise, or they want to raise, is that tax referendum going from 2.25 to 2.75%.
There could be the only thing I could think of what you said about what you seen that LaToya Holcomb was over there hanging with them, hanging with the bad crew. The only hope is that there's a tidal wave sweep and change where Callis is gone, Jennings is gone, Hall's gone, Thompson's gone. The only hope is, one of them is going to end up staying, but I guess you gotta say Hall because he does at least play the fence.
I already told you Jennings and Thompson's going to be back. But I think that's a shoe-in. You got 4 seats up.
Those are if you could get rid of Jennings, Thompson, and Callis, there could be a shift. It's a start.
Hall, I don't see why many would vote for him because I don't think he gives much.
If Scruggs and Dunn and y'all and you got on there, there's a possibility.
But
Dillard's the one that shot himself in the foot like a Rambo.
Here's the thing about Dunn. As a person,
I just see Dillard on his tracker. There's a snake in my boot.
how is a person going to vote for Dunn? Listen to me now. How's a person going to vote for Dunn? Because he wasn't at the candidate forum. All right, he hasn't had a meet and greet that I know of. He hasn't been on the radio. He
damn sure can't do a worse job than these dummies.
Well, you don't know that. I mean, you don't know nothing about anybody.
He's just a portion of a vote, man. He's 1/7 of a voice.
Well, I understand that, but I at least want to know a little bit about you.
Well, maybe you could get him to come on here next week. I don't know.
I sent him a message a few weeks back and said, "Hey, if you want to get together and have a conversation, that way I can know where you stand, you know where I stand, or whatever."
Have you talked to LaToya yet? Because you've already seen what she's done.
Well, I haven't seen what she's done. Me and her are going to have a conversation. That way she can get a little bit from me and I can get a little bit from her. I know where pretty much all the rest of them stand.
You know where the sitting ones stand. But like I said, Jennings, and it dawned on me after all of this, and I'll say it again for anyone who didn't hear me last time. The people with the most signs are the people who you should least vote for, period.
But I want people to keep this in mind.
Where do they get that money, and why is it so fucking important to them, honestly? Why is it so damn important that Thompson's got to practically, fly an airplane with a banner down Main Street saying Thompson.
If that's what they want to do,
I get it. They're trying to just grill it into your head, and they're using psychological tactics to try to make people vote for them, not because they're a good candidate, because they're the biggest pieces of shit that don't deserve to be there.
Well, obviously they got something to lose because
we know that
they want to be in there bad. And they got plenty of fun, so they obviously they got something to lose. I don't know. But anyway, I just want people to keep in mind that the money they're spending, the money that we're in debt, all the annex they go through to try to get your vote.
You've been poisoning your kids for generations, and they know it. And they just want to sit there and say they don't drink the water.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, they'll say stupid shit like, we'll just buy bottled water. It's like, oh, well, I guess if you're from a privileged, if you're one of the, silver spoon, hey, I'm a privileged prick. I drink water out of my tap. I don't care what you say. I want my water. But I got well, so that's good.
I get purified water.
We got some springs out here in the hills. So that's a secret. We won't tell people about the springs. We know where they're at. You got 2 little springs out here that we know about. So Michelle's like, hush, hush. We don't want people out here trying to steal our water. There's plenty to go around. It's not like, you know,
Hey,
anyway.
No offense, Puddin. I don't think anybody's going to be coming close to you.
Oh, I know. What are you talking about? I'm hidden. You can't see me.
Well, if they knew what kind of asshole you are, and they do, because the way you're talking on this podcast, you don't got to worry about nobody coming to see you for any good reason anyway.
No, not a good reason. Hey, if they come for a fun reason,
they may come with these right here.
For what? Oh,
and clip some
what's that?
Some goodies.
I got these real fast spears that I throw.
Good job.
Just called me spear chucker. You know?
All right. Well,
I mean, whatever. We're about to go throw some spears now, right?
Fix the potholes.
Fix the pothole.
Fix the potholes.
Fix the pothole.
That's
Save
all.
the suspension.
That's the only thing the mayor's got to do is fix the potholes.
Well, Portland, it's been fun again. But
remember, get out and vote.
Get out and vote. Yep, that right there. We got to stop that. Need to get this out of the water. Or
I just want the population to get out and vote and let your voices be heard. Let's not have no 14 or 15 or 20% get out and vote. As many people as possible get out and vote.
I think a lot will get out and vote this year because everybody knows how bad and in trouble the country is. But I just hope the people ain't misinformed. That's all.
The majority of the people don't care.
I don't want them. I don't want them blinded by all the signs. Well, look, this person's got 1,000 signs, and that other person's got 100. I guess the guy with 1,000's better for the job. No, he's not. He's probably worse.
He's better at spending everybody else's money.
He's got he's got people buying him shit apparently.
Just like your write-in candidate. Only reason because people threw money to buy signs.
He can do whatever he wants, man. Just go ahead and keep slowing them people down.
Now, going to the old folks' homes and the churches makes a difference too.
Oh, you've seen it on. So yeah, he's seen it. He was talking about going to. Hey, their heart's still beating. I can get a vote out of them. You know, I let them toilet paper in my house.
Hey,
what?
Kind of like a Democrat, ain't it?
Yeah, a little bit, maybe. Hey, their heart might stop beating, and they still vote for them. Have you ever heard about that? I've heard there's some people whose hearts ain't beating who cast ballots.
All right, guys.
See y'all later.
If you like the things I tell you, go to my Charles Cover Mayor Facebook page.
Buy rope.
Buy rope.
Buy rope.
Buy rope. Lots of it.
That's the only way they'll ever change. Lots of rope.
Lots of rope.
Hang them in the streets like they used to.
Yep.
We can't do that no more, man. We're civilized.
Tar and feather.
The tarred and feathered. The tarred and feathered one, man. That'll get you, boy. But all right, we'll see y'all next week.
We'll see y'all next week.